What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the overall market thus far, what's going on with the economic calendar, as we have Jerome Powell giving a speech very soon, and what I think may end up playing out for the market going into open. Before I begin to double information, before I talk about Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and all these different tickers, let me just say that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500 into the account, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks. And the offer ends very, very soon, in just a couple of weeks. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening to the market. As of right now, you guys can see that SPY made an attempt to bounce off this 516.5 area. We popped all the way up to about 519. Now we're retracing once again towards our support at 517.5. But if we hold this support, this thing could try to bounce again later on and respect an uptrend temporarily approaching Jerome Powell. But then once Jerome Powell is done, we'll see what he causes for the market. So I'm going to give you guys more clarity about this, what's happening. So for today, it's Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. 15 minutes after the market opens, we have Bowman giving a speech, the S&P Global Composite PMI, and then Services PMI. This is 15 minutes after the market opens. We have some data coming out. All right, so it might cause somewhat of a move in the markets. And then 30 minutes after the market ends up opening, we have even more data coming out at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have the ISM Services PMI, we have employment data, new orders, and ISM services prices data coming out. This is all going to be very important. New orders and prices are going to dictate the market in a way because they're very forward looking and they impact inflation to some extent. So that's why it's very important. In my opinion, for the first 30 minutes of market opening, expect some volatility and a big move at 10 o'clock a.m. because this could cause the market to either pop or drop depending on the data. My guts tells me it might actually be towards the upside because the market may uptrend a bit for now. But after a couple of hours, after all this data comes out at 10 a.m., right, we have some time until Jerome Powell starts speaking. So maybe the market will hold up a little bit better. But once Jerome Powell starts his speech, it's going to be at noon today, 12:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once Powell starts speaking, I don't know if the market will continue to push or the market gets a big rug pull. That I'm not 100% sure about. It depends on what Jerome Powell says, because some pieces of data were not the strongest, especially when the latest, manufacturing numbers came out. When the market started dipping, that could make us a little bit more concerned. Also, we're seeing, gas prices going up. There are some signs of inflation coming back, so Powell has to be careful with what he says. We'll see if he gives us a big bounce, or if we continue pushing, or if we drop. So I think we might actually uptrend approaching Jerome Powell's speech at noon, but then after his speech, who knows what's going to happen? It all depends on him. The market's off to a very, very interesting start right now. Bond yields are rising a bit, and there are some talks about the Fed cutting rates in June. It may not happen that soon, though, in my opinion. I'm expecting it a little bit later for the year. So we'll see what that causes. There's also news coming out about how there are analysts out there who are coming together and they're getting ready for the new vote for Disney's company board. That's going to be important as well. There's a lot of talk about Tesla tumbling. It actually saw a decline in deliveries the first time since 2020, only 386,000 deliveries in total. There's more news coming out about U.S. health insurers falling sharply after some new news came out about how payments for private Medicare plans that disappointed the insurance industry. That's very, very important news that came out, and this is why we ended up seeing a big drop in CVS and for many others out there. Crude oil is also at the highest level since October, and it's continuing to push as geopolitical risks are increasing, and that in turn is leading to prices going up. So that's very important, guys. Just wanted to note all of this. Moving forward, the market is quite greedy. Are we going to go all the way back down to neutral if Powell gives us the rug pull, or is Powell going to pump us back up to closer to extreme greed? We'll have to wait and see. Now let's just break down these charts, what's happening with the charts. Honestly, guys, with SPY, we have support at 517.5 and 516.5. We have resistance at 518, 519, which is very close to our 20 EMA, and finally 520 and then 522. My gut tells me that this thing may dip a little bit more, and then we're going to be looking for support at either 517.5, if not 516. Then we might see SPY attempt to rebound again, try to push back up to 519 or so, maybe a little bit higher. If we establish a higher low at 517 relative to this low at 516.5, this could also be the sign of a bit of a bounce that's coming, a slow uptrend. So look for volatility once all this data comes out at 10 a.m. it may actually help SPY slowly push higher. And then approaching Jerome Powell's speech, we'll see if he gives us a big bounce or a big rug pull. That we'll just have to wait and see. I also want to note that SPY has this big gap from a couple of days ago. We'll see if SPY continues to push to fill that gap, but watch and see what happens, and just know that Jerome Powell is going to cause a big move later on. For the QQQ, we're going to be looking at resistance at 440, support at 438. I could see this decline a little bit more, get closer to 438, but we're going to be watching to see if we get a big bounce all the way back up towards 442. If not, 443.25, like all the way up here. I think that this could drop a little bit more, but look and see if we get a big bounce all the way up to these high levels, or if we bounce from right here. I think the QQQ may attempt to bounce a bit, but please be prepared for some more volatility, and just know at 10 a.m. we're going to be looking for what the reaction is, and then Jerome Powell will determine if this move holds. So I think that we could come down to 438 or so. We're going to see a nice reaccumulation right here. We could make our way back up to about 440, and if we break through this, there is potential for it to go a little bit higher to 442 to 443. I think that it may come down first and then try to rebound later on. And then approaching Jerome Powell's speech, he may continue to launch this, or we could see a rug pull. We'll just have to see what Jerome Powell causes. Apple's at resistance right now at this white trend line. If we break 169, look for a push for 170. We could try to break this. If we reject again, we're going to be coming all the way down to 168. Apple's at resistance, which is where this white trend line happens to be. So we'll have to see what Apple does. So just be careful as we're at this resistance. For Nvda, it's the same thing. We're actually stuck within this range between 892 and about 908. We were stuck within this range, excuse me. Now we're coming down just a little bit. Watch 885 right now is our key level. If we continue to sink, we can look for 877 and 872. It could attempt to rebound later, try to make our way back up closer to 900. But even if we do that, we are on a bigger downtrend as we have a nice head and shoulders like structure right here. So it could get reaccumulated at this 900 area, but later on it does look a bit more bearish because we have this head and shoulders and we are in a very, very bearish trend for now. So look for a little pop that could come if we get good data, or even Jerome Powell pumps us, and then we could end up coming back down later regardless of what happens. All right. So for Tesla, we're looking a bit more bearish on Tesla as well. We could continue to sink to 162. If we lose 162, we could come down to this 162 to 160 range. And then if we bounce off of this, we're going to be looking for a push for 165 and 167.8. I do see this dropping a bit more, but watch this 160 to 162 area and then see if the data that comes out helps this thing rebound back up to 165. And then Jerome Powell will determine if we continue to push higher, closer to 170, or if we get a big rug pull back down below 160. So look for a move down, a reaccumulation as time goes on, a push back up approaching Jerome Powell's speech, and maybe off the data, depending on the data. And then we'll see what happens after we get a very, very big announcement from Jerome Powell, whatever he has to say. Might come down a bit, rebound, and then we'll see what Powell causes. For a couple more, I think I have time for like one or two more. Supermicro is a little bit weak right now. It's on a bit of a downtrend, exactly as predicted. We're going to be looking at the support at 970. We're barely holding that, but I could see it actually dipping towards 950 if we lose that. Resistance is at 980 and 1000. It's on a downtrend, so just be kind of careful. Then on top of all of this, we have Amazon looking a little bit more. It's looking like it might dip a little bit more, but this could be an inverse head and shoulders. This could be like a head. This could be a left shoulder and right shoulder forming. So watch and see how we hold 180. If we do hold this, we could rebound and turn bullish. If we lose 180, we could start sinking to 178 again. So watch 180 is a key level. For Meta, it's also showing some strength. Going to be looking for a test of 500 very soon, in my opinion. We'll see how it does. It might come down to about 496 and then try to rebound or just drop from there. But I think that this is looking like a nice accumulation. Could be trying to form like an inverse head and shoulders. Could come down a bit, then try to push up higher. So it's looking a little bit more bullish. All right, guys. So that's it for the video. There's only a few minutes left until the market opens. So take care, guys. Do what you have to do. And I'll see you guys in about an hour for the next update video. Thank you for listening and peace out.